let's move on to the next game, where I played good friend of the channel, Paul One-Sidler. I don't know if that's how you say his last name. It's quite an interesting last name. He's also a nice kid. I played a lot of children in this tournament, shockingly, including Eric Kachenko. We have been playing a lot lately. I've played Paul probably like 6 times this year. He's becoming like my most played opponent in St. Louis. I think he watches my YouTube channel because he said to his friend, I lost to one of his friends in some tournament at the chess club, and he's like, you're gonna be in a YouTube video or whatever. Anyways. Paul is better at chess than I am, but I think he's kind of a psychological player. I think if he just fixes some psychological things, he's gonna shoot up here. Every game I've had with white has been a Benko Gambit, which I'm fine with. I think in our first game, I think I went knight c3, d6, and in the first game I just went with like the main line of bishop takes f1, king takes f1. But again, like in theme with the way that I am, I haven't looked up the opening since then, and I figured he's improved, so I'm like, I'm not gonna play the same thing again. This time I played knight f3, you know, knowing even less. And after g6, I go g3. So a little bit different. I figure I will try to play it like, you know, Benoni positions, but I'm up a pawn. That's Benko. Bishop g7, bishop g2, castles, castles. I'm sure this is all theory. Knight d7, rook b1. And from my understanding, you're pretty much okay as long as you can alleviate the pressure on this diagonal. So that is what I'm trying to do. I'm first clearing the diagonal of the rook, so b3 will be possible. We have to worry about the knight next, but queen a5, bishop d2, I think, is the classic response to queen a5. Defending the bishop, kind of threatening to play b3, and then I'm pretty much all good if we get that in. Then my opponent plays queen b6, which is not a move I've seen before. And I thought for a while here, and I was like, I could play b3 here, but I just didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. I kind of didn't think it mattered. I played h3, which is another like Benko move to stop knight g4. But there's some really cool ideas here that I wasn't aware of. And I learned why I need to play b3 first. Like, this showed me exactly why you have to get this in. Because after h3, kind of shocking to me, which it shouldn't be, queen b7 is a very, this is just bizarre to me. So black played 1, 2, 3 moves with the queen, and is still not really down any time. My pawn is attacked, and there's not a great way to defend the pawn. I can't play e4 because my rook will hang. If I go knight e1 now, there's bishop c4, which is one of the ideas I missed, and which is why I had to play b3. And I had to do like a 15-minute think here to figure out what to do, because I mean, bishop c4 is coming. If I had just, like, I didn't realize how time sensitive the position is, because how could it be when the queen is moving so many times? But this h3 is just way too slow, and I'm like close to having a bad position. Knight e1, if I play it now, then this queen b7 isn't that good. It doesn't have any bite to it. Because like queen b7, knight c2, if bishop c4 now, there was like some tactic here. I think b4 is supported enough. But yeah, after h3, I was like, what do I do here? How does this work? Bro just like touching his queen. No, this is an idea he was aware of. This is what I'm telling you. Like, he knows more about chess than me. He's better than me. I think he just gets nervous. And I think he maybe gives me too much respect somehow. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe, I'm not sure. I know he wants to beat me. And he will eventually. Resign. Pawn looks, yeah, so I went rook e1, and I'm like, okay, You have to take here now, or I'm going to play e4, and it's all good. Taking here, though, I was going to go knight h2, and I was like, I don't know, this seems good for me. Kind of all the thought I had on that. But unfortunately, bishop c4 is still working here, and this position is kind of garbage for me. Like, this just sucks. I'm losing my d-pawn, essentially. I went with knight h2, and I'm like, you know, whatever. And now he can't take here, but he goes bishop takes a2, knight takes a2, rook takes a2. I go bishop c3, and I'm trying to neutralize the diagonal again, and I'm no longer up a pawn. I have kind of issues here anyways. I don't really have any clear plan. The position is bad. Knight b6, again, looking at my pawn. I thought I needed to create a little bit of chaos here. I spoiled the end of the game? How? Oh, I said he hasn't beaten me. Well, he could have drawn the game. Move king back and forth. Alright. Win and die trying, yes. I could go e4, but I kind of wanted to use this very brief moment in time where the b3 square is available to try to disrupt some harmony in the pieces. Looking back, this was probably too creative, but I go queen b3, another sort of ugly looking move, but it does get a tempo back here, and it pins the knight, and it defends the pawn. And maybe I can come in on the light squares in some way. Maybe get a pass pawn. Maybe. He goes rook a8, and I go queen b5. And I'm trying to get in, as it were. I am making a threat here, I believe. Am I? That's why I gotta take notes. Maybe the threat is to just, like, go e4. Yeah, I mean, it looks okay. Like, it should have been better. I'm just trying to hold on here. He goes rook 8 to a7. But now the knight is a little bit overworked, I thought. I played another creative move. Oh, I did write a note here. I said, knight f d7. I was worried even this, and I'm just worse. Yeah, like a simple move, I'm saying, and my position is terrible. I think that this move is just, like, unnecessary. It only gives me, like, stupid hope. But him just trading pieces, I think, is... I went b3. I thought this move was brilliant for some reason. I am baiting something. He's defending the queen, so this isn't pinned anymore, so he's trying to take. But I decided that the pawn wasn't hanging for tactical reasons. So what happens if he takes the pawn? Other than walking into a pin. Yeah, okay, so if he takes with the b knight, yes, he loses. But what about the f knight? Because he actually did play this. What was my idea? That's kind of the easier one to refute. This move is not as easy. Yes, queen e8, check. Bishop f8 is forced. And very important, I follow this up with knight g4. Hanging my bishop. I mean, not really, actually, this is pinned. But knight h6 is a mate threat. Now, unfortunately, black has a way to answer all of this that I completely overlooked. And I'm just worse, but at least it's, like, more tactical now. No, so rook a8 doesn't help because knight h6 is checkmate in 1. The bishop is pinned. Nice horse checkmate. Knight f6 does not work either because after knight h6 check, if here this is mate because the knight is pinned, and if he goes king g7, then I actually take on f7, and then, like, surely there's mate here. I mean, this is check. King's running into the wrong side of the board here. Surely this is mate. So knight f6 doesn't work. Yeah, you have to play e5. You have to just close this. And then, like, this was all kind of bullshit. I don't really have anything here. I wanted to play bishop a1, I remember, for some reason. I was laughing at that. I thought it was funny. But I realized that if I played bishop a1, where it seems really protected, and this is still protected, I then can never use this diagonal, and that's one of my only sources of play. So I went bishop b2 to try to play bishop c1 to try to play bishop h6. Yeah, he played e5, obviously. Queen e7, trying to trade the queens because all I have is a meth head attack. Queen c6, rook c7, queen b5. And now the knights are kind of clumsy. I got unbelievably lucky here. So my opponent, this is what I mean about like the psychological stuff. He was hovering his hands around this pawn and this pawn. Now, one of these two moves is completely winning, and the other one gives me insane chances. And not only was he unsure, he was showing that he was unsure, and he was also showing me what he was thinking about. And I think that maybe he does this on... I used to do this sort of thing all the time, a little bit of like performative... I don't know how to explain it, but like communicating with your opponent too much. You don't need to let your opponent know what you're thinking to get credit for it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's what's going on. I used to do that. So that's why I thought that. But he was deciding by your reaction. Well, you shouldn't do that. Even if that's what he was doing, you shouldn't do that. And he played the wrong move, thank God. I would have like had trouble not resigning if he had played the better move. One move is best, one move is a blunder. So what do we think here? f5 looks very natural. Oh my god. Another tornado. It's not letting me turn it off. We be having a lot of tornadoes tonight. What a lovely noise. Sorry. So he first hovered his hand over h5 to play h5, and I was like, oh fuck, I need to resign if he plays h5. Because I don't have a move here. Where does the knight go? Knight e3, he just like takes, and my position is like absolute garbage. Oh my god. He can even play knight a8 here, which is really funny. be better. This is the funniest part of it all. I mean, he should go like knight d7, but just defend the knight. So, yes, why is f5 not so good? Because it allows e4. Woo! It allows a counter threat. Just like in principle, I would, if it were me, like I might not even calculate. I would just be like, I should not open this diagonal for anything other than complete necessity. h5 and e4 doesn't really work because he just has fewer weaknesses, I think. And also, like, takes, he can take on h3. If takes, he can just take the pawn. But after f5, e4, takes, bishop takes h3, the huge difference is that if knight takes d5, queen c4, and suddenly I have an insane amount of counterplay. Even though I'm down 2 pawns here, it's actually now equal only if black finds, well, queen f7 is the only move, but white has plenty of counterplay, like queen f7, I go f4, and I continue to open the position. And it doesn't matter that I'm down material. The pieces are just misplaced and clumsy. The king is open. I have 2 bishops. I'm opening the position. So, yeah, my opponent plays... Yeah, he plays bishop. I play bishop takes h3, and he goes rook b7 instead, which I thought was worse, to allow bishop e6, and then the bishop just sits there for the rest of the game. King h8. Queen comes to d3. And now I sometimes will have ideas of like sacrifices on e5. I mean, it is just equal now, but I just, I feel better. I feel a lot safer now, even though, yes, I'm down a pawn. Knight d7, and then I just go king g2. I have no idea in mind. Definitely not trying to checkmate him. I would never do that. Knight f6. Protecting all the important squares. And now the bishop reroutes itself, as this will no longer be a viable option. He has bishop g7 in every line. This diagonal is no longer useful for me. Now that the knight has come to f6, I'm going to reroute to g5, where the pin will be very, very annoying, and any h6 move will be met by rook h1. Rook b4, bishop g... Oh, I know, I played bishop e3. Why didn't I play bishop g5? I don't know, man. Like, apparently I had a thought behind that, but that's shocking to me. Weeks later, seeing that I didn't play... Like, bishop g5 is such a good move. I wonder what my reasoning was. Why did I do that? I wish I had written notes. I mean, it could be that I was just vaguely worried about f2 and there wasn't a concrete reason. Yeah, I mean, rook takes f2 doesn't work though because I'm covering this g5 square. I see what you mean. It looks like a fork. Oh, maybe there is like, what is going on here? I mean, I sacrificed a full rook for this though. Or he did. Yeah, maybe it was time pressure already and I was just stressed. But yeah, this just allows knight g4. So I go rook a1, and obviously if you give me a file, you give me 8th rank, and you give me king. Hello, Waldo's Chicken and Beer, aka Camel Clutcher. Yeah, I mean, I guess I was worried about rook f2, but I need to be more concrete. And now my opponent finally blunders. If he plays knight takes e3 first, and then his move rook b2, this is very logical. He just forgore that after rook b2, I have bishop takes g4. And if rook takes, then the rook is trapped, because he will not have this. So he took, just went queen b1. And I sent in the troops here. And after bishop e6, he resigned. So kind of sad that the game is decided by a one-move blunder, just like my previous game. Very similar to the previous game where we both played decently the whole time. It was basically balanced, and then one person blunders in time pressure. It's definitely not the most interesting. All games are decided by blunders. That's not true. Maybe all of your games.